Dear devotees, Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada Guru Maharaj. Today we are very fortunate. We have His Grace Prem Rasa Das Prabhu from Mumbai, India. And Prabhuji is going to continue describing, enlightening us about the pastimes of Lord Balaram on Balaram Purnima. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, you may take over the call when you're ready.
Hare Krishna. Dhanapram to all the devotees. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was unexpected. I was not expecting that next day itself will do. But somehow Mataji approached me and she asked me, and I think yesterday's class was, I think, very interesting. Many devotees had a lot of questions. I think the class was only 45 minutes. Later on, the question and answer session went for 1 hour. So I thought, okay, let us continue next day only. Otherwise, it may have a lot of long gap. So, okay. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरस्य ज्ञानाञ्जलशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णवस्ताय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay, so today's class will be discussing the pastimes of the Lord Balaram, especially in Vrindavan. And very briefly, I'll be mentioning Balaram's in 1 or 2 lines. Balaram's pastime in different. I think one of the pastime is in Braj and other is in Kurukshetra, also related to Duryodhan. So we'll go through that now. It's going to be very interesting because the acharyas have given amazing commentaries. So just hear very attentively. So we'll start with Srila Prabhupada's Krishna book, what he has given in the Krishna book. Very brief pastime, not much detail, but then the acharyas, they will elaborate on that. Okay. So first of all, I wanted to begin with that generally, as you must be aware that in Vrindavan, Krishna does not kill the demons directly. Okay, it's the Vishnu inside Krishna who is actually coming out and he's killing demons. And because of Yogma's arrangement, we cannot see Vishnu. But Krishna does not do any killing business in Vrindavan. I mean, he's only enjoying there. So he's just having fun. And then, of course, sometimes when there's a direct contact with the demons, so that time Krishna may use his potency also. But because Krishna is directly touching the demons, so that's why there is some extra opulence and power, display of power, and then the demons also benefit like that. But in general, the Vishnu inside Krishna is actually doing the killing job. If you see the pastimes of Krishna, the way he's killing the demons is actually not even killing the demons. He's like just touching them or holding them like that. Okay, that's the specialty of Vraj pastimes, especially killing of demons. So basically, Vishnu is the Lord of justice and dharma, whereas Krishna is actually above that. He is the Lord of mercy and love. So generally, the demons get mercy by the potency of Krishna, and Krishna also gives them Prem sometimes, love of God. So that's the uniqueness of Krishna. One thing also we must remember that whoever is killed by Krishna and Balaram or his associates, so they all attain liberation. Especially I'm talking about the demons. Whichever demon is killed by Krishna, Balaram, Pandavas, or Krishna's associates, they all get liberation. Okay, so liberation is of different types. One is of merging in Brahman, Sayuja Mukti, and then we have the 4 different types of liberations. And of course, we have love of God. We have the rasas also. So Krishna may bestow all these things to the demons. But none of the other avatars of the Lord, none of the other forms of the Lord, like Lord Ram, Nasimha, Varaha, Vaman, Matsya, Kurma, they cannot bestow liberation to demons. Okay, so this is very important, unique quality of Krishna. And similarly, it is with Balaram also. And by the empowerment of Krishna Balaram, then the Pandavas also and the devotees also, they can liberate the demons. Okay. All right. So let us start with the killing of. Now there are only two demons that we know from the Bhagavatam, which Balram personally killed in Vrindavan. Okay, so the Bhagavatam describes two pastimes, which is killing of Dhenukasur and then killing of Pralambasur. So that we'll discuss in detail today. Okay, so Krishna and Balram, they just entered the age of Poganda. Now we know that there are three different ages of Krishna Balram: Komar, Poganda, and Keshor. So 0 to 5 is Komar, then Poganda is from 6 to 10, and then Keshor is from 11 to 16, like that. So it's an eternal age of Krishna. And there is now, as I also shared yesterday, that Krishna generally is eternally present in his Keshor form. And Keshor form is the best age of Krishna because that form manifests the greatest beauty, the greatest power, the greatest form of attraction. But at the same time, different devotees in different bhav, they are attracted to Krishna in different ages. So, for example, Yashoda Maya, she is attracted to Krishna generally in the Komar age, Pogand age. So, Krishna, although he is of Kaishor age, but sometimes he is also manifest Komar and Poganda. Or Yashoda actually will see Krishna in that age, although Krishna has manifested Kaishor age. Similarly, if you see in the Ras Leela pastime also, Krishna was only, he lifted Govardhan at the age of 7 years. And after 1 year, Krishna actually performed the Ras Leela pastime. So actually, if you see, he is actually just a child. Now, 8-year child cannot perform such kind of activity. He cannot romance girls, right? At that particular age. It takes like really good, like, around more than 12, 13, 14 years like that in order to start having those kind of sentiments for the girls. So the acharyas, they explain that Krishna matures in his age much before than what the actual age is. So for example, when you talk about 0 to 5 years is Komar age, then Krishna attains Komar, he finishes Komar at the age of 3 and 1/4. So when he becomes 3 and 1/4 age, he's already achieved the maturity of the 5th year of Komar age. So that way, if you, let's say if there is a balance of 1 and 3/4 years of age, now you multiply it 3 times. So when Krishna comes to the age of 8 years, he's already surpassed Poganda. He's actually entered into Kaishor. So that way, Krishna is already in Kaishor age. And that's how he's able to manifest these symptoms. And at the same time, the Acharya also say that whichever age it is, whether it is Komar, Pogand, or Keshor, Krishna can manifest any age at any point of time. So that is the uniqueness. And of course, similarly, Balaram can also do that, depending on the need of the pastime. Okay. Okay, so Krishna and Balaram, they entered Pogand age, which is basically, let's say they entered 6 years of age, and at that particular time they were given the they took charge of the cows. So earlier, from 0 to 5 years, they were given the charge of calves, but now they are given the charge of cows. Okay, because they have grown older now. So Krishna and Balaram, they entered the forest, and which is this forest? Dhenukasur was killed in Talwan. So Krishna and Balaram, along with his coward boyfriends, they all enter the forest, and then they enjoy the scenic beauty around. Okay, so Krishna saw that all the trees, they are overloaded with fruits, and they all have fresh twigs. So they are all bending down, of course, because it's overloaded with fruits. That's why the weight of the fruit is making them bend down. Now that is externally visible, but if you consider the internal reason is that they are bending down to touch the ground as if to welcome Krishna by touching his lotus feet. So Krishna was very pleased by the behavior of the trees and the fruits and the flowers, because they are all conscious entities and they all offer respects to Krishna. And he started smiling. And of course, he could understand their desire. So he was reciprocating with their desire, he was smiling. And then what Krishna did, so in order to hide his own glory, because Balram was with Krishna. So now we have to also know one thing. One etiquette is also to be learned from this pastime, is that when superior personality is along with you, then the credit should be passed on to that superior personality. So here, Krishna, actually, all the living entities, they were offering their respects, love, and everything to Krishna. But Krishna transferred that to Balaram. He gave the entire credit to Balaram and he starts praising Balaram. And he transferred the entire praise and glory and the loving affection of all these living entities to Balaram. So then Krishna started saying that all these trees, they are trying to get out of darkness because of which they have accepted the form of trees. And the trees born in the land of Vrindavan, they are not ordinary trees. In the past life, they had some impersonal views, and that's why they have been now put into this stationary condition of life because trees cannot move. And impersonal is also they would like to somehow they would like to destroy their existence. They would like to you can say isolate themselves. So that's how they become stationary, and this is the reason they become trees. Okay, so but because of some kind of pious activities, because of some sukriti, they must have got some mercy of devotees. These impersonalists, although they became trees, but they also got chance to take birth in Vrindavan. So when they took birth in Vrindavan, now after offering obeisances to Krishna, and Krishna is saying that, oh Balramji, they are all offering obeisances to you. So he's making Balram known as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is one direct evidence from the Srimad Bhagavatam, this particular chapter, where it is stated that Balram is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because yesterday we were discussing, right, the different sampradayas or outside of Vaishnava Sampradaya, they do not believe that Balram is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is a very important praman from the Bhagavatam, where Krishna is directly praising him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. Yeah, so they are praying for further advancement in spiritual life through your personal association. Generally, the living entities, they are in the mode of darkness, and whoever is in the darkness, they come in the form of trees. And the personal philosophers, they are generally in the mode of darkness. So in order to eradicate their conditioning, they are taking full advantage of your presence. So this is what Krishna is telling to Balram. Then the drones which are there in the forest, they are all buzzing around you because the drones are approaching Balram and they are right besides Balram's face and they are making sound and they are buzzing around Balram's face. And so Krishna is saying that the drones around you must be your devotees in the previous life. And they are not able to leave you because you are the Supreme Master of Godhead and you are a perfect master for them. And you are very affectionate master. So that's why the drones are actually, they are not making sounds, but they are constantly chanting your glories at every moment. And then see how the peacocks, they are dancing in front of you due to ecstasy. The deer, whose behavior is like the gopis, and they are also welcoming you with the same kind of affection with that of the gopis. And the cuckoos that who are residing in the forest, they are also welcoming you with their joyful, sweet cries because they consider your appearance in their home is so auspicious. So even though they are trees and animals, these residents of Vrindavan, they are glorifying you. They are prepared to welcome you to the best of your ability, as if the practice of great souls in receiving another soul at another great soul at home. And then, as far as the land is concerned, it is so pious and fortunate because your lotus footprints are marked everywhere in Vrindavan. So because of that, the land has become very fortunate. Now, one thing I would like to also inform you that the maximum association, if any devotee has got in Krishna Lila, right? Because if you know, in Vrindavan, though, he leaves for Mathura and Dwarka later on. And then when he's not in Dwarka, he's going to Hastinapur, and he's not in Hastinapur, he is going to Dwarka. He's also sometimes going to Mathura to Vrindavan. So that time they are not able to get Krishna's association. So who is the one who got constant association of Krishna? And that is described that Bhumi, Mother Earth. So she was so fortunate because the lotus foot of the Lord was always in touch with her, right? Throughout his eternal, like his entire pastime, right? From birth to his passing away. So Mother Earth was so fortunate that she had constant association of Krishna. So like that, Krishna is praising Balram that your lotus footprint is marked everywhere in the forest. And that's how the land is also so fortunate. Then he says that the herbs, the creepers, the plants, they are so fortunate. They also get to touch your lotus feet, and by touching and when you touch the twigs with your fingernail, the small plants, they are also made glorious because of the touch. And then, of course, what to speak of the touch when you embrace the gopis. Of course, yesterday we discussed that Balaram has his own set of gopis. Krishna's gopis are different. And then as far as the forests, the hills and the rivers, so they too are now glorious because you are glancing at them, right? So that's how Krishna was glorifying Balaram. And then together, along with his cowgirl friends, they were imitating voice of the animals, and they were playing and dancing. And they also were taking rest in between. So Balaram rested. When Balaram rested, Krishna was fanning Balaram. He was massaging his feet. And similarly, when Krishna rested, the coward boyfriends used to come and they used to also massage Krishna's feet like that. So the boys also wrestled sometimes. They danced together like that. Now, in this environment, one time, what happened? Sridama, Subal, Stoka Krishna, they were praising Krishna and Balram, and they started informing him about the Talwan forest. Right? So then they told him that fruits are falling down from the palm trees, and they are very ripe. So some of them have fallen down, and some are still on the trees, but they are so ripe, and they could not actually escape from the aroma of the fruits of the tal trees. So that they were in such a distance from the forest that they were able to smell the aroma of the fruits, and it was so fragrant. At the same time, it was so, just by its fragrance they could make out that it was very ripe and it was very sweet. So they had a desire to eat, to relish them, right? But then they said that due to the presence of Dhenukasur, it is very difficult to go there, and all of his associates, they are also present in the form of asses. So no one can harm them, only you both can do something about it. And then they started saying that it seems that no one has tasted the fruits on the ground, and we are very much attracted by the aroma which is spread everywhere. So can you also smell this? So let us go and eat. So by their instigation, they entered, and then what happened? Balram, this is according to Krishna book. Okay, I'm just narrating according to Krishna book, the way Prabhupada presented. So by their instigation, they entered, and Balram started yanking the first. So he caught hold of one palm tree and he started yanking. And by all its strength, all the fruits on the tree, they fell on the ground. So hearing this sound, Dhenuka approached with great strength, shaking the whole field as if it is, such a big earthquake has happened. It has occurred. So like that, Dhenukasur, when he heard Balram's yanking noise, he got up and he immediately chased after Balram. So first, Dhenukasur, as soon as he was chasing and he tried to attack Balram, so first Dhenukasur hit Balram with his hind legs on the chest. So the first time he hit Balram didn't do anything. But then second time when he hit Balram more vehemently, Balram immediately caught his hind legs with one hand, and then he started willing Dhenukasur. Just by that centrifugal force, it was so strong, so forceful that in that motion itself, Dhenukasur actually lost his life. So then Balram, what he did, he thought that, okay, let me now just throw him on the top of the tree. So he threw him to the top of the biggest palm tree. And what happened? Due to the heavy weight of the demon of Dhenukasur, and because of the tallest and the biggest palm tree, it came in contact with Dhenukasur, and because of such a strong force by Balram, the tree actually started shaking very strongly, and because of that, the tree happened to touch another tree. That tree started shaking, and this created a chain of reaction. So each and every tree, they started shaking very violently, and because of that, one tree after another tree started falling down on the ground. So that was the power of Balram. So Prabhupada mentions, of course, it is Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada is just translating it in his own language. So it's mentioned that it is not astonishing because Balram is basically Anantasesha. So when Balram is holding the entire universes in the form of Anantasesh, this is nothing. So then the friends of Dhenukasur, they started coming from different places, and they assembled together and they started attacking with great force. But they were all killed in the same way. So all these dead bodies, they created a panoramic scene, and it appeared as if there were clouds of various colors. They all assembled in the trees, and which were all lying on the ground. So it seemed that the entire sky has fallen to the ground. Okay. So hearing of this, the demigods showered flowers, and they started beating the drums and offered prayers. And then few days later, people began to come to Talwan and collect forest, uh, the fruits and the flowers and all. And animals also returned to feed on nice grass. So this is how Prabhupada explains in the Krishna book. Okay, now we'll go into some more details from the Acharya commentaries. Okay, so let us start with understanding who was Dhenukasur in the previous life. And as I mentioned, that every demon in Krishna Lila, they represent some anarthas. They represent some live anarthas that we have. Okay, all the devotees, the sadhakas, they are experiencing. Okay, so now who was Dhenukasur in the previous life, and what anartha does Dhenukasur represent? So Dhenukasur in the previous life, according to Garg Samhita, he was the son of Bali Maharaj, and his name was Sahasika. So once while Sahasik was enjoying with 10,000 women on Mount Gandha Madana, he made a lot of noise which disturbed the meditation of Durvas Muni. Now you can just imagine. Durvas Muni is there. So immediately Durvas Muni got very angry and cursed him. And he said that because you are making sound like an ass, because you are behaving like an ass, become an ass. So fool, you become like an ass. And then, of course, as usual, they develop repentance mode, and they start beg forgiveness from the sages, and then the sage will give some concession, and they will tell them that, okay, don't worry, when the Lord will come, then you will also come. So Durvas Muni said that after 4 lakh years in the transcendental abode of Mathura, in the sacred forest of Talwan, you will attain liberation by Lord Balaram himself. Okay, so this is the previous life of Dhenukasur. Now, which anartha does Dhenukasur represent? So this is a common sense. Now, Dhenukasur is an ass, and ass is basically, that ass does not have any intelligence, or he's got like some very foolish intelligence, right? So he is the representative of gross materialistic intelligence, ignorance of spiritual knowledge. So this is the anartha that is represented by Dhenukasur. So basically, we carry in our hearts, in our mind, we carry a lot of burden, and as demon also they carry a lot of burden. So that burden is also represented by Dhenukasur. Okay, so if devotees want, they can also write down the anartha and the previous life of Dhenukasur. All right, so now let's start with the commentaries on this pastime by our acharyas. So yeah, so now our acharyas say that actually Lord Krishna wanted to encourage his coward boyfriends, because previous to killing of Dhenukasur, he just killed Aghasur, and he was they were also stolen by Brahma in the Brahma Vyoman Lila. So you are all aware of that, right? So uh, they are saying that Krishna actually wanted to now encourage the coward boyfriends to have some fun and to have some change of land, change of some kind of circumstances. Okay, to have some kind of different experience. So that's why he took them to Talwan forest. So this is how, of course, to make them enjoy and experience the delicious ripe fruits. So this is mentioned by one of the acharyas. Then the coward boys actually wanted Krishna and Balram to kill the demons. Now see, very interesting thing is that the coward boys, they are also pure devotees of Krishna. So how is it possible that they could instigate Krishna and Balram to kill the demon for their own enjoyment? So this is a question that needs to be answered. Okay, so our acharyas explain that uh, all devotees in Braj, they are completely pure, as we all know, and they are totally selfless. So when they are saying Krishna that you go and kill the demons so that we could enjoy, actually what they are thinking is, they are thinking that if Krishna Balram, actually we want Krishna Balram to enjoy the fruits, but they will not tell us directly, because they will not selfishly say that we would like to enjoy. So they are all, Krishna Balram, they are always thinking how their friends will enjoy, and their friends are thinking how they will enjoy. So Krishna Balram, I mean the friends of Krishna Balram, they actually somehow make up in such a way, make up things in such a way that it seems that they are saying that we are hungry and we are eager to, we are greedy to have these fruits, but actually they were presenting this on behalf of Krishna and Balram. It was not their desire. It was their desire to satisfy Krishna and Balram's senses. So they took on their own, because they knew that Krishna and Balram will not tell directly that they would like to enjoy. So that's why let us say, and if we say, then Krishna and Balram will definitely do it. If we say that Krishna and Balram, if you would like to taste, then please go, then they will not do it for their own sense gratification, for their own selfishness. But if we say that we are greedy, we want to enjoy the fruits, then they will very eagerly, they will go and they will do the task. So this is their consciousness. Okay. So this thing we have to keep in mind, that no one is selfish in Vraj. Okay. Yeah. So this is one of the reasons. Second reason is that why they are thinking is, so once Tal forest is free from all these asuras, Dhenukasura and his team, then in future all the Vrajvasis, they can come and they can have very nice ripe fruits, and they can also all taste, and they can relish all these fruits. So they were also thinking of the Vrajvasis, not only about Krishna Balram, but all the Vrajvasis. And third reason given by the Acharya is that they were also thinking of glorifying Krishna Balram. So they knew that ultimately Krishna and Balram are the ones who can actually defeat all these asuras very easily. And so they presented this concept to Krishna Balram indirectly. Okay. But in their minds, they were thinking that let us present this, and if Krishna and Balram, feels it is good, then they will execute it. So it was, in order, this entire thing was orchestrated by the coward boys to ultimately to glorify Krishna Balram, to bring their glories out, how they easily killed Dhenukasura. Okay, and all the associates of Dhenukasura. So this is what the Acharyas explain. Yeah, in fact, they were simply joking with the Lord and enthusing his pastimes, urging him to perform unprecedented heroic feats in the Tal forest. So Lord, now see what happened when the boys started. First of all, they requested Lord Balram to go and to start instigating the demons, the Dhenukasura and his friends. So then Balram, he started teasing the boys. So he says that since you have repeatedly overpowered me in wrestling earlier, then why don't you please go yourself? Why are you asking me? And so you can all, because you are powerful than me, you just go and dispose of the demon and enjoy, your victory. So the Gopas, they counter. Now the Gopas in return, what they say is that, oh, mighty arm one, we have already seen that Krishna has killed so many demons. But aside from battling with us, we have never seen your display of power with a real opponent, with a real enemy. So you may be fighting with us, we have overpowered you, that is true, but you are fighting with your friends. So that is not a great deed. We want you to see fight with a real demon. So Krishna has already killed. Now it is your turn. So then somehow Balaram got instigated, So because now it's a question of his respect, self-respect. So he has to now show that, okay, now I also have some power. Then, what happened? Now, in order to further instigate Balaram, they said that you are Krishna's elder brother. What are you doing? Why do you take the inferior position, never having killed any demon before? Krishna already killed, and you are elder brother. Elder brother should actually kill before the younger brother, but you have not got any chance till now. So if you think these demons who are so formidable and so fearsome that even birds won't fly over their forest, and it is too much for you to handle, then let Krishna handle them. Let Krishna kill them. So Balram got really, his ego got flayed. So he immediately like kind of jumped for the fight. He became ready for it. And then, of course, now what is the purpose of instigating Balram? Krishna could have also done it. But one of the reasons to instigate Balram is purely because of Krishna's vow to Prahlad Maharaj. If you remember, what did Krishna vow to Prahlad Maharaj? That I will not kill your descendants. And I told you right in the beginning, we got to know that this Dhenugasur was actually, in the previous life, was Sasik, the son of Bali Maharaj. Now, Bali Maharaj is the son of Prahlad Maharaj. So he is actually one of the descendants of Prahlad Maharaj. And Krishna promised that he will not kill his descendant. So that's why Krishna thought that I have promised, so I will not go forward. Let me bring in front Lord Balram. So Balram can kill, but I will refrain from it. So this was actually the idea of Krishna. Now see what happens. Yeah, so now one very important lesson, very amazing lesson that we learned from this pastime is that the moment Balram started shaking or yanking the tree, right? We all discussed about Prabhupada explaining that he entered and then he started, of course, he got instigated by the friends and then he started showing his power. So the first thing he did is he caught hold of the tree and he started yanking the tree, right? And the fruits, they fell off just by his yanking. Now, one thing, very instructive lesson we learn here is that basically the point is that Prem, to attain the stage of Prema, is like the fruit, is like the ripened fruit. Okay, so this fruit is situated at a very long height, very huge height. We cannot, as sadhakas, because we have limited potency, we cannot actually climb on the tree and we can get it down by our own efforts. So what this pastime indicates is that when we take shelter of Guru, because Balram is Adi Guru. So Balram, what he does, he makes things very easy for us. So the state of Prema is very high for us, very lofty. But if we please Balram, if we please Guru, then he will shake the tree and make the fruits immediately fall on the ground. Which means that, let's say if the devotee at the stage of Anartha Nivritti, okay, and he is unable to cross over the state of Anartha Nivritti. But if he is pleasing Guru to the best of his ability, then in like going through the stages of Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, and Bhava, and then finally Prem, it's not even necessary. Because what the Guru will do, he will bring the Prem stage at the level of Anartha Nivritti stage for us. That's called Kripa Siddha. So this is the example. Okay, this is how we understand that Guru brings the fruit of Prema for us, if we please Guru. So Balram did the same thing here. Very instructive pastime. Okay. Now, yes, another interesting thing, our acharyas also say that, why we have become so greedy. The coward boys, they are saying that why we have become greedy, because we associated with a greedy person like Krishna, because he is a Makhan Chor. He's so greedy for Makhan. And because of his association, we got influenced and we became greedy. And we wanted to taste the ripened fruits of the tal trees. So that's why we have this strong desire to taste it. So because it's all Krishna's fault. He is the one. So very interesting, sweet, humorous insight by our acharyas. Yeah. Yeah, now see, what was Krishna thinking? Krishna was thinking that since a long time, Balram has not killed any demon. So let him kill. So Krishna actually gave him chance to kill the demon and to take the credit for killing the demon. So now see, in the yeah, then our acharyas, they say that actually the Lord possesses unlimited potency and strength. Okay, but the Lord exhibits power according to the circumstances. So here the Lord exhibits a tiny fraction of his power according to a particular situation. And they further add that Balram desired to vanquish the gang of demonic asses who had unlawfully seized the Talwan forest, and therefore he exhibited just enough divine opulence to easily kill Dhenukasur and the other demons. That's it. Just that much power he displayed, which was required to finish them off. That's it. Then our acharyas, they say that when all these demons, they were killed, the earth, it looked like a sky with clouds, because see, the fruits, tal fruits are, they are very dark in color. The donkeys are gray in color. The top of palm trees, they are also dark, and so are the clouds. And so it seemed that the entire cloud has actually manifested on the ground. Then our acharyas also mentioned that actually, because the fruits, they had already fallen down due to the yanking of Balram by his force, and then of course throwing Dhenukasur and killing all the associates one by one. Our acharyas, they also mentioned that when Dhenukasur was killed, after that his associates, they all assembled together and they start attacking. Now, actually, they thought that Balram is very powerful, because they somehow they felt, seeing Dhenukasur was easily killed by Balram, they thought that Balram is too powerful for us to handle. So let us first attack Krishna. And that's why Krishna actually came in front and they targeted Krishna. And then, of course, Krishna also, the same way, he killed all these. And in fact, it's very interesting. In the Garg Samhita, it is mentioned that not just Krishna and Balram, but all these coward boys, they also got some chance to fight with the associates of Dhenuka. So, and in fact, not just with associates, Dhenuka was killed in a different way. It is mentioned that how the fight went on, and they fighting, they went on till Govardhan hill. And then Dhenukasur caught hold of Govardhan. He took hold of Govardhan is one of his legs, and he threw at Balram. And then Balram caught hold of Govardhan, and then he again threw Govardhan at Dhenukasur. And this way, the coward boys also, different coward boys, they also started hitting Dhenukasur with different ways. And Dhenukasur was terrified. And finally, Balram killed him. So this is how a different version of the pastime is presented in Garg Samhita. But the point is that Krishna came in front, and he actually wanted to somehow come in between so that they will not harm Balram. And similarly, then Balram also jumped in, thinking that they should not harm Krishna, like that. Yeah. Now see, after everything got over, the entire panoramic scene of the dead bodies of the donkeys lying on the ground, and as you all know that the entire atmosphere became very beautiful. So now see, the goal was to eat the fruits, right? The entire goal of the coward boys was to eat the fruits. So whether it was for Krishna Balram or whether it was for them, but ultimately what happened, because the fruits got contaminated with the blood of Dhenukasur, so then they did not even touch it. They just left the place. And then there were some Pulindas and some lower caste people who came there and who actually cleaned everything, and they had the fruits. So after that, the forest got cleaned, and then people started coming in and they started relishing. So this is what our acharyas also mentioned. Now it's very interesting that Balram's lotus foot is also marked with a palm tree. So wherever he walks, he also spread. Now see, very interesting. Because his foot is marked with a palm tree, wherever Balram walks, the entire forest is spread with the glories of Talwan. So he's basically spreading the glories of his pastimes everywhere through his footprints in Raj. Yeah. Okay. So this is about the commentaries of the acharyas on the pastime of Dhenukasur. Now, some insightful and instructive message from our acharyas related to the pastime. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while teaching his students in Navdeep, gave them this instruction. Shastra rera na jane marma dhyapana kare garda bera praya na shastra vai mare. Learning and teaching the prescriptions and prohibitions of scriptures without knowing their purport makes one like an ass who carries the burden for a washerman with no profit for itself. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching a very important lesson, that this Dhenukasur also is representing the burden that we carry for a washerman or for the materialistic people without any profit. Okay. So this is basically learning. So if we learn Shastra, the rules and regulations, the prohibitions, don'ts and do's of Shastra without knowing the purpose, then the life becomes like a ass. And then further on, it's also mentioned the message of scriptures is to serve Lord Krishna with pure devotion. For one who merely memorizes the scriptures without realizing this message, the scriptures are no more than a burden. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur further elaborates. He says that the donkey's burden is the misconception that regulated devotion and not spontaneous is the goal of path of bhakti. So, meaning that if we only focus on Vaidhi bhakti but do not get into the realm of Raganuga bhakti or spontaneous devotion, then it is basically a cheating process. It is basically like a burden process. Okay, it's a burden for us. Now, because Dhenukasur could not yield the tal fruits, he did not allow others also to eat. Okay, so this is the nature of donkeys. So he opposed others' attempt to do so. So similarly, as like persons who cannot attain attachment for Krishna, they will also try to obstruct others from doing so. Okay, so this is all so important for us to understand from the past time. So see, such great, wonderful commentaries the Acharya have given. They have not just given the detailed insights of the past times, but they have also explained the anarthas. They also explain how to overcome the anarthas, the meaning of the anarthas, how does the anartha get destroyed. That also will come to on later. We'll explain in detail. Yeah, so Balram is the embodiment of the Guru principle. He shows us that the spiritual master's duty is to remove the obstacles that prevent his disciples from serving Krishna with spontaneous love. So ultimately, the Guru has to direct the disciple towards spontaneous loving devotion to Krishna. Okay. Now, what did Dhenukasur achieve? What was the destination of Dhenukasur? So Dhenukasur soul abandoned his mutilated body, and now he had attractive spiritual body. And that dark complexion form was dressed in yellow garments and decorated with forest garland. So Vaikuntha chariot driven from the Vaikuntha realm by the Lord Associate, it appeared, and the soul of Dhenuka then circumambulated Krishna and Balram and ascended the chariot and returned back to Godhead. This is according to Garg Samhita. Okay, so he went back to Godhead. Okay, so the pastime of Dhenukasur is over. Now we'll go to the pastime of Pralambasur. So let's see what is the how Srila Prabhupada explains in the Krishna book. Okay, so once while playing in Bhandirvan forest, now you should know that Dhenukasur pastime happened in Talwan forest, and killing Pralambasur happened in the forest of Bhandirvan. So there are 5 forests as discussed yesterday, 5 forests on the eastern side of Yamuna and 7 on the western side of Yamuna. Talwan is on the western side. Madhuvan, Talwan, Kumudvan, Vrindavan. These are all Kamyavan. They are all in the western side of the forest. And on the eastern side, we have Bhandirvan, Bhadravan, Bilvavan, Lohavan, and then Gokul Mahavan. Okay, so Bhandirvan is one of the forests on the eastern side of the Yamuna. So now, while playing in Bhandirvan, Pralambasur entered, and Krishna understood. Of course, he is the omniscient personality of Godhead, so he understood, and then he began thinking how to kill him. So he welcomed the Asura because he was in a disguised form. He took the disguised form of a coward boy who was his friend, and later we'll know about these details. So he welcomed him and organized a duel, a game in the pairs for a duel. So duel is basically you oppose and whether you win or you lose. Okay, so whoever will lose, they will carry the winner on their backs. That was decided. So the party of Balram, accompanied by Sridama and Vrishabha, they came out victorious after the game was over. And then Krishna's party had to carry them on their backs through the Bhandirvan forest. So Krishna carried Sridama, Bhadrasen carried Vrishabha, and Pralambasur carried Balram on his back, on his shoulder. And in order to avoid Krishna's company, Pralambasur took Balram far away in the forest. And he was extremely powerful, but due to carrying Balram, who is compared to the mountain, so the demon started feeling the burden. And because of that, he could not sustain his mystic power. And then he assumed his real form. Now he was decorated with golden helmet earrings and looked like a cloud with lightning carrying the moon. So Balram observed the demon's body expanding up to the limits and of the clouds. His eyes were dazzling like blazing fire, and his mouth was flashing with sharpened teeth. So at first, Balram was surprised by the demon's appearance, and he began to wonder, how is it that all of a sudden this career has changed in every way? But then, with a clear mind, he could quickly understand that he was being carried away from his friends by a demon who intended to kill him. Immediately, he struck the demon on his head with his strong fist, just as the king of the heavenly planet strikes a mountain with his thunderbolt. So, stricken by the fist of Balram, the demon fell down dead, just like a snake with a smashed head, and blood poured from his mouth. When the demon fell, he made a tremendous sound, and it sounded as if a great hill were falling upon, being struck by the thunderbolt of King Indra. So all the boys then they started rushing to the spot, and astonished by the ghastly sin, they began to praise Balram with the words, "Well done, well done." All of them then they embraced Balram with great affection, thinking that he had returned from death, and they offered their blessings and congratulations. And all the demigods in the heavenly planets became very satisfied and showered flowers on the transcendental body of Balram. And they also offered their blessings and congratulations for his having killed the great demon Pralambasur. So this is very briefly Prabhupada describes this pastime in the Krishna book. It's very short. Okay, so this is Prabhupada in the Krishna book. Now we'll see the previous life of Pralambasur. Okay, so previous life, according to the Brahma Bhagavad Puran, he was actually the brother of Suhotra, and his name was Sudarshan. This Suhotra later became Bakasur, and Sudarshan came in the form of Pralambasur. And this much is given in the Brahma Bhagavad Puran, but Garg Samhita gives another additional detail and a different version also. So Garg Samhita says that according to Garg Samhita, he was actually Vijay, a Vaishnav, a devotee of the Lord, and he was the son of a Gandharva king named as Hu. Okay, he was cursed by Kuvera to become a demon for stealing some flowers from one of his gardens. Now, Vijay had gone to the garden thinking that he will offer some flowers to Lord Vishnu, but he actually stole the flowers. He entered without permission and he stole it. So that's why now Vijay was unaware that Kuvera had already pronounced a curse that anyone taking flowers for the garden would be transformed into a demon. So as soon as he became Asura. But then, of course, Vijay took shelter of Kuvera. He begged for forgiveness, and then Kuvera reassured him that, don't worry, you don't have to lament. At the end of Dwapar Yuga, you will be liberated by Lord Balram himself in the Bhandirvan forest. So this is the previous life of Pralambasur. Now, what is the anartha that Pralambasur represents? So Pralambasur is the representative of lusty inclinations, desire for personal honor gain, pratishtha labh, So these are very difficult to overcome because these are the anarthas that stay till the end of our anartha nivriti. The last thing that will go will be pratishtha and labh, the desire for name, fame, appreciation. So the devotees, they have to be very careful because I think many devotees, they do experience this, that we may get rid of many anarthas, but the desire for honor, pride, prestige, fame, prestige, this will not get over so soon. Okay. So we'll have to put extra efforts for that. Okay, now our acharyas, they comment on this pastime. Yeah, so see, now Pralambasur, of course, Kans sent Pralambasur to Vrindavan to kill Krishna, right? So Pralambasur entered Nandgram, and then he overheard an elderly gopi tell her son Bhadra. So the gopi's son was Bhadra. No, Bhadra is one of Krishna's coward boyfriends. So the gopi was telling her son Bhadra that he should not go for herding the cows with Krishna this particular day. Okay. So Bhadra went for a bath, and during the bath, Bhadra's bath, Pralambasur already disguised himself because he directly saw Bhadra. So it was very easy for him to disguise himself as Bhadra. So he disguised and replicated each and every features of Bhadra. And then when he went for a bath, Pralambasur, what he did, he stole the ornaments, the clothing, and all walking stick and everything of the Gopa. And then it seemed that he was exactly Bhadra in all ways. Okay, in all respects. So then he went and he met Krishna and Balaram. He entered the forest like that. So Jiva Goswami also mentions that some of the coward boys, they stayed at home on that particular day. So this information is further provided by another acharyas. So Pralambasur assumed this particular form, and then now see, when Pralambasur entered, Krishna allowed him to enter because he already knew that this is a demon, and he has disguised in the form of my friend. But Krishna still allowed him. So what was Krishna thinking? He was thinking that he should be killed by him or Lord Balaram after he mounts his shoulder. And for the sake of that, after putting him on my side in the game of passenger and carriers, which is also called as Harina in Hindi or Sanskrit, Harina. So I myself, having become defeated by him, will make him defeated also. So Krishna thought that, okay, let me become defeated, let him defeat me in the game, but ultimately he will be defeated because finally he will be killed by Balaram. So therefore he sanctioned his friendship with this demon, Pralambasur. Yeah, so what Krishna did in order to achieve this task by the potency of Yogamaya, Krishna made arrangement in such a way that the demon Pralambasur thought that Krishna is very powerful. So Krishna covered the fiery energy of Balram's body, and he made his own fiery energy come forward and attract Pralambasur or make him understand that he is very powerful. So he actually made the fiery energy appear from his body. So Pralambasur could understand that Krishna is very powerful, and he's actually, I cannot match him. That's why it's better if I go and kill Balaram first, because Krishna covered his fiery energy like that. So Pralambasur, he had golden ornaments, and the cloud is bright like splendor of lightning, right? So this means that Pralamba was compared to cloud, and his golden ornaments were compared to the lightning, effect of lightning, splendor of lightning. And then Baldev is identified with the moon because Baldev's complexion is Sweta, whitish complexion. Now, see, Balram, for the time being, momentarily he got fearful because, of course, now in the past times, because of Yogmaya's arrangement, they do not remember their potency, power. That's why, just like Narlila, in the Narlila, anyone gets fearful when they see the demon for the first time manifesting suddenly his form. So Balaram also got fearful. Now, one of the reasons the Acharyas say that he was actually fearful because he was fearful of Krishna. So he was suspecting that if this demon is with me, there may be another demon who may be disguising himself and he may attack Krishna. So he got fearful because of that. And one way you can say that he got fearful about his own self also. That was a part of his Yogmaya's Leela. Yeah, now one of the reasons Krishna wanted Balaram to kill Pralambasur is that very funny. This is very humorous. The Krishna already had great paragliding, because if you remember, he had killed Trinavarta. So Trinavarta took him to the skies. And not just that, our acharyas say that actually the demigoddesses, they were very eager to see Krishna from a very close distance. So Krishna arranged the entire pastime where Trinavarta carried Krishna high up in the sky, right up till Swarga, so that the demigoddesses can actually have his darshan and they can see Krishna very closely. So, and at the same time, Krishna also wanted to have some fantastic ride in the sky. So, like, it is mentioned in the Trinavarta pastime, our acharyas mentioned that Yashoda Maya was actually kind of playing with Krishna, and he was throwing Krishna to certain height, very less height. Just like you throw the child for some height and then you catch the child. Like that, Yashoda Maya was like swinging Krishna, and she was also like throwing Krishna and catching Krishna. But Krishna, although he enjoyed in the beginning, but he did not enjoy later on, because he was thinking that this, what is this height? This height is nothing. I want to read the sky because the children, they are very naughty and they want to achieve everything. Whatever they see around, they would like to do anything. So they will also say that, okay, I would like to get the moon for myself and I would like to touch the sky. So then the moment Krishna thinks like that, Yogmaya will arrange in such a way that what happened? Then suddenly Krishna, all of a sudden, he manifested very heavy weight, extremely heavy weight that Yashoda Maya could not tolerate. So she actually kept Krishna away from her, and she dropped Krishna and she went for some purpose to do some seva for Krishna. And then Krishna was thinking that, see, why did Krishna did this? Because Trinavarta had an intention to kill Krishna along with Mother Yashoda. So in order to protect Mother Yashoda, Krishna then thought of this pastime where I will increase my weight so that Mother Yashoda will go away from me. Okay. She felt that, okay, there's some kind of mystic power which is affecting my son. So let me go and do something about it. So she goes away and then she keeps Krishna on the ground. And then that particular moment, Trinavarta comes and he takes Krishna away in the sky. So see, whenever Krishna does something, there is always some reason, some purpose behind it, and that's how Krishna went all the way. And so now it is obvious, no, when the elder brother will see that, oh, my brother is enjoying, having fun in the sky, what about me? I should also have this kind of, enjoyment. So then Krishna will arrange a pastime where Balaram also got the chance. And Krishna thought that let Balaram reach the moon, because he's already a moon. He's like a moon. So let the moon reach the sky. So this is what Krishna actually thought of Balaram. And that's why he took Balaram all the way. Pralambasur, he started increasing in his height. And then finally, ultimately, Balaram realized, and then Balaram did not have to expand himself. He just increased his weight, which was felt by Pralambasur, and he could not sustain. And then finally, he had to disguise his original form like that. Okay. Yeah, now Balram was also thinking that should I kill this demon, because he's disguised as a coward boy, friend of Krishna. So because he's like Krishna has accepted him, so should I think? But then he realized that already Krishna had killed a woman prior to this, and he also killed Vatsasur, who is also a calf, small calf. So there is nothing wrong to kill this demon. So then Balram decided that he will kill. Yeah, so now after the killing of Pralamasur, the god, the demigods in the sky, they gave Balram the name Baldev. Okay. So earlier, Garg Muni had already called him Bal. Okay, Balram. But now they gave him the name Baldev because they were Devas. So they just added Dev in this name. And that from that point of onwards, he was called as Baldev, like that. Okay. So as the demigods, they showered the flowers, the soul of Pralambasur. Previously, he was a Gandharva saint, Vijay. went to Vaikuntha Loka, and Balram, eager to escape the ghastly sin, he ran to embrace his brother Krishna. So Pralambasur, now also what our acharyas they explain, who was the demon Pralambasur in terms of anarthas. So he was the personification of coward Buddhism known as Mayavad. How Pralamba's attempt to steal Balram represents the Mayavad philosophers' efforts to disprove the personal identity of personal feature of the Supreme Brahman, Krishna, and the eternality of pure devotion to him. Of course, when there is no person, there is no question of pure devotion. So what Pralambasur tried to do is he actually wanted to destroy the personality of the Lord, and that's why he's compared to Mayavad philosopher. Okay. Thakur Bhaktivinoda also says that just as Pralambasur disguised himself to enter amongst the coward boys, Mayavadi philosophers or philosophy sometimes enters the Vaishnava community in the guise of service to Krishna. So in the name of service to Krishna, in the name of glorification of Krishna, sometimes Mayavad philosophy or a philosopher can come and he can try to attack Vaishnava society from within. Prabhupada said, that ultimately the main obstacles in our ISKCON movement, they'll not be from outside, they'll from inside. So someone can come disguised in the form of a devotee, but he may be a Mayavadi externally. So hearing about Pralambasur's death at the hands of Lord Balram will infuse us with the spiritual strength to identify and root out Mayavad ideology when it infiltrates our ranks under false pretense. So see, not just any other devotee or any other person Mayavadi can enter from outside, inside, but even we have Mayavad tendencies. We have Mayavad tendencies in the context of this some self-enjoyment, enjoy separately from Krishna, sense gratification. This is all giving completion to Krishna. This is all like enjoying separately from Krishna. So these are all Mayavadi anarthas, Mayavadi tendencies. So these tendencies also a devotee can actually recognize and he can curb these tendencies by hearing the pastimes of Balram killing Pralambasur. So that way it will be helpful for us. Okay, so this is about Pralambasur, death of Pralambasur. These two demons are killed in Vrindavan. Now see, very, very important, hear very attentively. What is the mystery of Vraj Bhajan? If one wants to enter Vrindavan, if one wants to become a devotee in Vrindavan to assist the Vrajvasis, then what is the mystery of Vraj Bhajan? What type of bhajan we should do so that we can enter Vrindavan? So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that if a devotee cries out humbly and sincerely to Lord Krishna to remove these demoniac qualities, which are represented by the demons killed by Lord Krishna. So see, these demons, these two demons are not killed by Krishna, they are killed by Balram. So we'll come to that. But whoever is killed by Krishna, these demons, they represent some anarthas. So these anarthas, how they will go away? So the Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that if one cries out humbly and sincerely to remove these demoniac qualities, which are killed, represented by the demons killed by Krishna, then Krishna himself will remove those evils. Okay, but the devotees, now this is the most important. The devotees must personally work to drive out the anarthas represented by the demons killed by Lord Balram. This is the mystery of Vraj Bhajan. The aspirant must personally remove the strong impediments with his best care and efforts and by obtaining the mercy of Krishna. If the devotee's humility becomes very deep and intense, Krishna will be merciful. In that case, the feeling of Balram will arise in his mind and then quickly destroy these demoniac qualities. Then one will gradually improve his cultivation of bhajan, meaning the hearing, chanting, and meditating on the pastimes of Lord Krishna. So, extremely important lesson that if you want to enter Vrindavan, if you want to enter Vraj Bhav, Vraj Seva, then which are the anarthas that are killed by Balram in Vrindavan? These two anarthas, Dhenuka and Pralamba. What are these representative of? One is, as we discussed earlier, Dhenuka is the personification of ignorance. personification of foolish intelligence, burden. Okay, so burden of basically empiric knowledge, or you can say learning the Shastra without knowing the purpose. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says that only to focus on Vaidhi Bhakti but not cultivating spontaneous devotion. So the burden of that is Dhenukasur. So identify that anartha, work on your own, put your own efforts to destroy these anarthas by, of course, work, put efforts, pray to Krishna in humble way. Then feeling of Balram will arise. Lord Balram will appear in the mind and he will destroy finally. But efforts has to be from our end. And then second anartha is the anartha of Pralambasur. His lusty inclination, the desire for name, honor, prestige, Mayavad tendency. These are all represented by. So we have to identify these anarthas, work on this, and in a humble spirit pray to the Lord, and then Balram will appear and destroy. Okay. So these are about the. This is about Vraj Bhakti, how we attend Vraj Bhakti. Now, I would just like to state two things as I had started in the beginning. I mentioned in the beginning that one will discuss about the Brahma Vimohan Leela, and also I would like to share about Duryodhan and Mahabharata. Okay. So see, one lesson that we learned from the Brahma Vimohan Leela is that Balram, who is the Adi Guru, is also bewildered by the pastime of Krishna. For 1 year, he also does not know that all these calves, they are all expansions of the calves. They are all expansion of Krishna. Ultimately, the coward boys are all expansion of Krishna. He could not realize that unless and until he one day he saw that all these calves, they were running down. All of a sudden, they started running extremely quickly, and they very eagerly they wanted to greet and the coward boys also, they did the same thing. Then they realized, they understood that. Then he understood. Then Balram understood that actually these are all expansion of Krishna. So for 1 year, Balram was bewildered. So now a very frequent question, whether Guru knows everything, whether he is omniscient. So here in this pastime, it is from this pastime we understand that Guru is omniscient as long as Krishna would like him to become omniscient, or not even like you can say that omniscient as such. Guru is never all-knowing. So unless he's Vishnu Tattva or he's empowered by the Lord, he's a Trikalyani in case of Ved Vyas or some great sage who is like empowered to see the past, present, and future. He is not all-knowing. Okay, in general, he is not all-knowing. And sometimes the Lord will reveal to the Guru, in certain circumstances, the Lord will reveal to the Guru certain details, but not every time. So you don't expect that the Guru is representative of Krishna, he knows everything. He knows my heart. No, you have to also express to the Guru what seva you would like to render, what is your nature, what difficulties you are facing. You have to express to the Guru. He does not know everything. Only Krishna knows everything. Okay, so this one thing we have to learn. And another important lesson from the pastime of Duryodhan. Now, there is also a question about why Balram favored Duryodhan. So, in one letter, Srila Prabhupada, when he was asked about this question, the devotee also kind of answered to Prabhupada that is it because Balram, Duryodhan was actually eternal associate of Balram? Prabhupada agreed. He said, yes, he was eternal associate of Balram. That's why Balram favored him. So that is one aspect. From he was just playing the role of envious demon, like the way Jay and Vijay came down. So one way we can see like that. But according to Shastra, it is mentioned in the Garg Samhita that is expansion of Kali. Duryodhan is expansion of Kali. So Kali means the influence of Kali in Kali Yuga. Okay. So being expansion of Kali, Balram apparently favored him in the sense that he externally showed him some kind of affection, but internally he was displeased with him because Duryodhan always opposed Krishna, who is the object of worship of Balram. And ultimate goal of Balram is to serve Krishna. And ultimate goal of Balram is to make the devotees of Krishna serve Krishna. That as a guru, He wants that all the devotees should also serve and worship Krishna. That's the ultimate goal of Balaram. Okay, so how can Balaram be really pleased with Duryodhan? So one thing we need to learn very clearly from very important, very essential lesson is that the guru can also cheat the disciple. If you approach the guru externally, making a show that, okay, Guru Maharaj, we want to please you, we want to serve you. But internally, if you don't cultivate yourself, you don't mature your Krishna consciousness, you don't act on the order of Guru, then externally the Guru will just say, okay. So many times, devotees, they think that the Guru Maharaj has given us glance, he smiled at us, he embraced us, he gave us a lot of affection, he encouraged us, he spoke to us. This is all for encouragement. But actually, what is real mercy, real blessing of Guru? Real blessing of Guru means that you get more attached, more and more attached to Krishna ultimately. You advance from the stages of Shraddha to the stage of Prema. Ultimately, you attain love of God. That is the real mercy of Guru. And that he will bestow only when you satisfy Guru according to his desire, according to the desire of Krishna. But if you just make a show externally, or if you externally connect to the Guru, it's not internal connection. You don't follow the regulative principles. You don't do your sadhana well. You don't read Prabhupada's books. You don't internally cultivate yourself. Then it only becomes external. Then basically the devotees, they just want to do service so that they get pratishtha and labh. Ultimately, this is our acharyas, they all say this, that unless and until, so that's why Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, these are, for advanced devotees, these are the main limbs. These are the main limbs. If you don't do this, especially Shravanam, if you are not doing Shravanam, it means you are not going to have any taste for chanting. And you are not going to speak, you will not be able to speak anything. You will not be able to understand anything. That means you are just on external platform. You may be doing physical services, but it will just go from one ear, it will go to another, out from another ear. You have to understand the Siddhant. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur says that without Sambandh Gyan, devotees cannot even give up their anarthas. And without Sambandh Gyan, you cannot even achieve Shuddhanam, the state of Shuddhanam. So Sambandh Gyan is extremely important. And of course, to execute that is the best thing. So this is what we learn from the pastime of course, now when the choice came for Balram to choose Kauravas and Pandava side, so one thing is that we also understand that Balram wanted to stay neutral because he also wanted to set an example that as the Supreme Lord, now Krishna will always establish Dharma, but then the Lord is also merciful to demons. So he also wants to show that. So Balram took that stand. So he said, okay, let me become neutral. I will not go against the Kauravas. So let me show some mercy to them. So Krishna, that's why I say Krishna Balram dual role is there. Krishna enjoys this kind of rasa because one form he is taking a very strong stand that I am with Dharma. That's his purpose to come to the material world. But another form, Krishna is also saying that, okay, I am merciful to everyone. And at the same time, externally showing favor, but internally cheating. So Kali is always treated by the pure devotee or the Guru. The genuine Guru will always go against Kali, will do things which is favorable for bhakti, which is against the work of Kali. So like that we understand. Okay. So this is how we need to understand very amazing insights by our acharyas. So many wonderful lessons that we learn from the past times. Of course, there are other pastimes also. And one of the reasons why Balram is actually called Sankarshan, you may have heard about the, like yesterday we discussed about how Balram, the Sesha was, he was actually transferred from the womb of Devki to the womb of Rohini. Okay. So that's why he's called Sankarshan, because he created some kind of attraction between the two families. Okay. But actually, the real reason why he's called Sankarshan is because when Krishna left Vrindavan and when Balram went to pacify the gopis, so that particular point of time, Balram told the gopis that I cannot see your lamentation. I am not obliged to anything. right away I will call Krishna in front of you and I will make him appear before you. So Balram, in his mind, he called Krishna and he made Krishna appear at that particular moment. And the gopis, they saw Krishna face to face. And because Balram made Krishna appear, because he attracted Krishna to appear, that's why he also called as Sankarshan. So this is what our Acharya also explained. So very briefly, I've just shared the meeting of Balram with the gopis, how he went to pacify them. I think he was there for 2 months. That time he also performed the Rasila pastime with his set of gopis. Okay, all right. So with this, we end our katha on Sri Balram Purnima. And we of course pray for his, we beg for his mercy. He's very powerful spiritually. He's the Guru. He's our Guru. So let us pray to Balram that whatever anarthas we are facing, we develop the determination and desire to overcome the anarthas uh, as quickly as possible, and somehow we can go advance to higher stages of bhakti. So thank you all the devotees. Hare Krishna. And if there are any questions or comments, we can take now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for the wonderful class. Thank you for, I think it's Krishna's arrangement for you to tell on this auspicious day about Balaram. Amazing, Prabhuji. So much knowledge you have. It is actually hard for me to process so much knowledge. Uh, Wonderful, Prabhuji. Wonderful. And I have a
Thank you.
question, Prabhuji. You were talking about impersonalist. They became trees in Vraj. Like why they became trees? I couldn't get you when you said it. Can you please explain it again?
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a verse that directly talks about this. And I think this is spoken by Ramandarai, where he is sharing with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that generally the impersonalists, they become trees. Now, one of the reasons why they become trees, Prabhupada already mentioned in Krishna book that they are in the mode of darkness. So generally the impersonalists, if they do not offend the Lord, then they achieve their desired goal, which is merging in Brahman. But if they offend the Lord to some degree, then they do not achieve that goal. There is some obstacle that will happen in between, and they have to become trees. So that's why, because of their offense, and of course because of their sukriti, some devotees must have given mercy. That's the reason they actually took birth in Braj,
Raj.
because it's highly impossible that any demon or any asura or any offender can actually take birth in Braj. So some devotee must have given some mercy, and that's why they were able to born in Braj. But those impersonalists who have offended the devotees of the Lord, they probably become priests, like that. That's how we understand. And I thank you so much for the kind words. It's all the glories of Acharyas, what they have given, I have just presented. The thing is that, see, I understand that there are some devotees here who are probably new, or maybe they have spent 1 or 2 years or 3 years in Krishna consciousness. But then there are some initiated devotees also. And that's why I feel that it should be justified for everyone. That details, of course, there are so many details which are not necessary for new people, but for devotees also it is required. So that's why, you know, but yeah, you have the freedom to ask questions and clarify things. So I hope it makes sense, Madhuri.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. And then one more thing, you were talking about Sambandh Gyan. Until and unless we get Sambandh Gyan, the service will not be like deep enough. It's just like it's just a physical service. It's not
Yeah.
actual seva.
Okay.
Sambandh Gyan is
Unless we have Sambandh Gyan, we cannot attain the platform of Shuddha Bhakti, or we cannot take Shuddha Nam. Okay, we cannot come to the level of pure devotional platform.
okay. Does Sambandh means hearing about scriptures?
Yeah. So
Okay.
Sambandh Gyan, yesterday also this we had discussed, because yesterday Geeta Mataji was asking about the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, that what should we remember and pray during the time we are chanting the holy name. So, so this is what is called as Sambandh Gyan. You should know what is your goal, and then accordingly you have to practice your bhajan. You have to channelize and focus your bhajan in that direction. So, for example, like yesterday there was a discussion about Hare Krishna Mahamantra means what? We have discussed this earlier also. Ram, what does Ram refer here to? So is it Balram or is it Lord Ram? So then, because it's Balram Purnima, so devotees may be wondering, well, let me think of Ram as Lord Balram today, at least for today, so that we get mercy of Balram. But I explained to the devotees that it is not about, making Balram the object of worship. So generally, let's say if you get attracted to Radha Shyam Sundar, okay, Lord Balram we can pray to Balram for strength. We can pray to Balram for his mercy so that we can overcome obstacles. But our object of worship is always Radha Shyam Sundar. We pray to Balram in such a way that please remove obstacles so that we can worship Radha Shyam Sundar. We pray to Lord Narsingh, so destroy obstacles in the path of the worship of Radha Shyam Sundar. Varadev, just like he lifted earth from the Garbhodak ocean. So similarly, please lift our consciousness from anarthas till we attain Shuddha Bhakti. So that we get completely rid of anarthas. So raise our consciousness, lift our consciousness, so that we can actually serve Radha and Shyam Sundar. So goal is Radha Shyam Sundar. If someone is inclined towards Radha Shyam Sundar, if someone is inclined towards Krishna Balram, then everything will be related to Krishna Balram. The object of worship will be Krishna Balram. Okay, like that. So this is called as Sambandh Gyan. You should know whom you are worshipping, the the glories of that personality, the inform the Gyan about that person. So it may be about his energies, expansions, about his personality, and then again, for example, when you are chanting the holy name, then you should take care of the offenses. You should not commit offenses. Then what are the offenses? 10 types of offenses are there. So this is called Sambandh Gyan. That if you want to achieve a goal, then whatever obstacles are there, you should identify, and then how can you overcome the obstacles, by whose mercy, and what is the goal, and who is our ultimate object of worship. So this is called as, all these things are connected to Sambandh Gyan, like that.
So basically, like why
and
we
then,
are
like
doing
for
all this.
example, the entire pastime we discussed, and then the Acharya, they gave some instructive lessons for us to learn, that these are the anarthas. This is how we need to take care, identify, and overcome the anarthas. So this is Sambandh Gyan. And that's why we require Guru. Otherwise, what is the role of Guru? Right? So you have the holy name, you just keep chanting, but you chant for millions of lifetimes, you will not achieve the Lord, because you not know what is the goal of my chanting, what for I'm chanting for. So some people will chant Hare Krishna to achieve liberation. Some will chant Hare Krishna to enjoy material world, to fulfill their desires in material world. Some people will chant Hare Krishna to worship Lakshmi Narayan. They don't even know, like that. So all this is anarthas, operads, the entire science of Krishna consciousness it's a process, and that process is Sambandh Gyan.
Got it, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, at a basic level, it also means that you are part and parcel of Krishna. This is your Sambandh with Krishna or the Lord. That's the beginning, the basic fundamental of Sambandh Gyan. And then it can go up to revealing your identity, your original identity in the spiritual world. Are you a gopi? Are you a sakha? Are you a mother for Krishna? So this is also Sambandh, your ultimate Sambandh with the Lord. So it can expand like that. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Guru Maharaj. Prabhuji, it was really wonderful. So many pastimes, as Mataji mentioned. So many details you mentioned. Only one question arises to my mind. Like, what is the difference of hours between Krishna and Balaram? Like, what are the qualities, if you can please mention?
Yes. So
The difference of the qualities. Thank you.
yeah, yesterday we did discuss about in the beginning itself we did discuss, and we said that Krishna manifests 64 qualities, correct? So that's the maximum quality, and then the other forms of the Lord, they manifest 60, 55 like that. But Balram also manifests 64 qualities. Only thing is that the exception is that Balram cannot enjoy Radharani, and Balram has his own sets of gopis. So one thing we can clearly conclude from this is that although Balram also manifests 64 qualities, but to a lesser degree than Krishna. Otherwise, everything else remains the same. All the qualities that are manifested by Krishna, the same thing for Balram also.
So Balram is the expansion of Krishna. So, but since it's an expansion, it has the same qualities, right, Prabhuji? And
Yeah, it's. I mean, see, expansion is the word that we use in English language, but in other sense, you can say that Krishna's second body
second
is
body.
Krishna only, basically, but with a different. As I said, no, yesterday only, that servitude of Godhead. He is the supreme personality of servitude Godhead, in the mood of service to Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. Just trying to reconcile what Nikunjaraj Prabhuji also asked. Balram ji killed Dhenukasura because Lord Narasimha had given Prahlad the benediction that 21 generations will be saved. And so isn't Narasimhadev also an expansion of Balram? Because Balram is the first expansion. So how can Balram kill Dhenukasura?
Yeah. So that's a good question, but it's kind of Achinta Bheda like that. I mean, this is what the Acharyas they explain, that Krishna did not personally kill because, so in one sense we say that everything comes from Krishna ultimately. But yeah, you are right that ultimately, if you see, um, Balram is the one from whom everything manifests, and all the avatars. So, one sense, the avatars are eternally present. Yesterday we discussed about it. They are all eternally there, Narsimha or Vamana. So there's no question of like who is coming from whom. But in terms of manifestation of qualities, we say that okay, Krishna becomes avatari or Balram becomes the avatari for all these different forms. So yeah, it's a good question, but I believe that it's just Achinta Bheda, like Krishna wants to respect that personally because basically, we identify everything with Krishna. It is because Balram is like the second half of Krishna. So Krishna is ultimately the source of everything. He's even the source of Balram. So in that sense, like maybe it is said.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So whenever there is any enjoyment, can we see as Krishna, and whenever there's service, can we see as Balram?
Yeah, that's also yesterday you asked this question, and that's also a good question. Basically, the thing is like, yeah, I mean, we can take it in two perspectives that Balram also himself is enjoyer
Okay.
to another, if you consider another perspective, because Balram has his own set of gopis and he has his own set of devotees also. And similarly, Lord Vishnu also in Vaikuntha. So we know that Vishnu also has, he has Dasya Bhav, devotees have Dasya Bhav with Vishnu, and there is Aishwarya relationship. So devotees, they can go to Vaikuntha, they can worship Vishnu, Vishnu can directly enjoy that relationship. But on if you consider on the holistic view, you'll see that like I gave the example of Aishwarya also assists Madhurya, because without Aishwarya, you will not understand what exactly is Madhurya, what is the significance of Madhurya, what is the importance of Madhurya. So we have Aishwarya Lila that actually indirectly is serving Madhurya Lila, like that. So we have to see from both perspective also. So similarly, Balram's pastime, his Raslila with the gopis also is seen in that perspective, because indirectly is giving pleasure to Krishna by performing that pastime. So because Krishna is not personally present, so on behalf of Balram, you can say that on behalf of Balaram, Krishna is actually experiencing that bhav. So like that also we can consider. Yeah, but the acharyas, they don't give details on this in terms of like really enjoyer and the enjoyed like that. But in general, especially when it comes to specifically the personality of Balaram, that is meant for like Krishna's enjoyment, in the sense that the entire paraphernalia, the material spiritual world, the ornaments, the beddings, the clothes of Krishna, everything is expansion of Balaram. So in that sense, it is not that Krishna is expanding himself in order to serve Balaram, right? It is the other way around. So in that sense, we say.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Is there's Boga Tyaga, right? So Prabhuji, so is that enjoyer enjoyed? So that theory of Boga Tyaga of the Lord.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically in Vrindavan, when Krishna is there, of course, the goal is to assist Krishna only, definitely. But sometimes he also enjoys.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I thank you for this beautiful class. Very, very beautiful, really, all the pastimes. I was a little confused about when you said that Lord Balrama was actually, it was make believe that he was taking Duryodhan's side. Is that correct? Or something to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
what was it? Yeah.
Yeah. What is the question?
So, what was the reason for that, Prabhuji? Thank you.
Yeah, one of the reasons from external point of view is that the Lord is always neutral to everyone. So he's so see, no matter for the Lord, hate and love, it's all absolute. It's all one and the same. You person may hate the Lord, but the Lord, because he's beyond all these things, he does not take any hate or prejudice for anyone. He's always loving and kind for everyone. In fact, in many pastimes where Krishna is killing the demons, so the demons, they actually chastise Krishna, they abuse Krishna, they use abusive language, and it is mentioned by our acharyas that what happens is, in that particular circumstance, although the Lord is being abused, but Mother Saraswati appears on the tongue of these demons, and what she does, whatever they speak, Mother Saraswati will interpret that, and she will turn it in such a way that it will glorify Krishna. So Krishna will hear glorification. The demons may chastise or abuse Krishna, but Krishna, what is Krishna going to hear? He is going to hear his glories. Okay, like that.
So why should Mata Saraswati do that?
Because Mother Saraswati cannot tolerate that demons will abuse Krishna, because she is the mother of speech. She is the in charge of the knowledge. So she wants to make sure that I serve my Lord. So she takes the opportunity and serves Krishna like that. So again, it's all the Yogamaya's pastimes, where every opportunity is taken by the devotees to glorify the Lord.
Oh, so it's for the Lord's to basically please the Lord. It's being done. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, see, the thing is that the Lord never takes what is abuse for him. When a person is beyond love and hate, everything is same for that person, because he is not affected by anything. And of course, on a mental or a material platform also, if you see, a person also understand there are some people who are beyond love and hate. So like Lord Jesus Christ, he says that hate the disease but not the person. So he's also beyond that. He took so much, you know like he was crucified, and whatever pain was inflicted to him, he took it as a, very happily took it, and he was praying for all those who actually were crucifying Jesus, because he had that kind of broad vision, compassion. Haridas Thakur also did the same thing. I mean, it was much beyond the compassion of Jesus Christ. Haridas Thakur demonstrated much more compassion. So all these pure devotees who are perfected devotees, the Lord, they are all of the same nature. So they will never consider criticism of themselves as anything different from loving or receiving that. Of course, then we can also say that then what is the use of becoming devotees? Let us all become demons. Anyways, we are demons from the beginning. Why we are struggling to become devotees? Then let
Right.
us be demon and continue to abuse the Lord. But then here thamam prapadante tam sadai bhajaniyam. As you surrender, I reward accordingly. So there is a difference in destination for the demons and for the devotees. And then Lord is also partial to the devotees, because then injustice will happen. But injustice cannot happen because the Lord is there to establish justice. Otherwise, how can he be, how can he love the devotees? Because everything becomes equal then, devotees, demons. So in order to favor the devotees, the Lord also shows partiality to them. And the destination that they achieve is, of course, his own realm. The demons achieve Sayuja Mukti, and sometimes they achieve his abode also. But the intensity of love is not like that.
So even if Mata Saraswati is coming at the last minute, the Lord anyway knows that that's happening. That he, I'm sure, right?
Lord, what is happening?
Even Mata Saraswati is translating it and making it pleasing to the Lord, but the Lord is aware of the fact that she's doing it.
Yeah, so there's multiple things happening in Krishna's mind. The unlimited things can happen at one point of time. So of course the Lord knows that he is criticizing, abusing, and externally he will also always he will also show his anger, as he showed to Shishupal, who was criticizing. So the Lord showed his anger, immediately invoked Sudarshan and he cut off the head of Shishupal. Right? But at the same time, internally he is also pleased. And then he also knows, at the same time, he also knows that this is Jay and Vijay playing the role of demons. At the same time, he's also not aware that they are Jay and Vijay, because he's also performing Nar Leela. So by Yogmaya's potency, he's also covered. He's not aware of these things. So Achinta Beda Ved, everything happens simultaneously like that. But the Lord enjoys to cover himself, because when he's playing Nar Leela, then he does not want to show that he knows things. And that's a natural sequence of unfolding pastimes. It's like like, for example, you go for a suspense movie. If you already know the suspense beforehand, then what is the use of going and seeing the movie? But the suspense should be revealed at the appropriate time. Then it will create a lot of influence and entertainment, like effect. So like that.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Okay. So any other devotees?
So one quick question, Prabhuji. So to progress in spiritual life, we should pray to Lord Balram to help us and to remove our obstacles. And so, because earlier one used to think of praying to Radharani. So, for what purpose should we pray to Radharani in this in our
No,
spirit?
we can see all these personalities, they help us in our advancement. So we can pray to Guru Jan, we can pray to Radharani, we can pray to Balram, we can pray to Narsimdev, we can pray to different avatars of the Lord to achieve different specific purpose. So all these we can pray not just to them, but to Panch Tattva also, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. In fact, Nityananda Prabhu is the personification of mercy, compassion, Audarya. So he is the most merciful. So this same Balram, yesterday we discussed how he will actually not just tolerate chastisement, but he will also hurt himself, for the sake of giving the love of God to others. So his compassion is unlimited. So that way. So we can pray to any of them. We develop a special inclination for specific particular form of the Lord, and we can cultivate that relationship. And sometimes on special days, we can also remember special forms of the Lord.
Yes.
And the
But
avatars of the
sometimes
Lord.
I've also heard, Prabhuji, that Radharani is slightly difficult to please. Is that true?
If Radharani were difficult to please, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not have expressed his Mahabhav. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would have been very difficult to please. And then all the other associates of Mahaprabhu would have been very difficult to please. Radharani is the most compassionate. So one time there was one question asked to Prabhupada. So one devotee, he went to Prabhupada. So he heard from one person. So there was a discussion between who is greater. Is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu greater or is our Radha and Krishna greater? That was a question that was asked. So there was a discussion between this devotee and one person from outside. And also there was also a question of, well, who came first? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came first or Radha Krishna came first? So this man said that actually it should be Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who should be greater, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like Rasgulla. When if you have milk, you have sugar, you mix them, then you get Rasgulla. Okay, the Rasgulla is tastier than milk or sugar. When you have it separately, the Rasgulla tastes much more sweeter. So that's how, because Krishna and Radharani combine to form a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is like Rasgulla. So Rasgulla is more tasty. And because Rasgulla is tastier than separately milk and sugar, that's why we understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must have come first, because he is superior. So this question was taken to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada asked, who is greatest? So Prabhupada thought for a moment, he said, Radharani is the greatest. He did not take the name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Radha Krishna. He said Radharani is the greatest. And yeah, we understand that because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's identity is because of Radharani ultimately. So he's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because of Radharani. Otherwise, he's not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You remove Radharani, then he becomes Krishna. So Radharani is the greatest. And then after some time, Prabhupada also started thinking. And then he said, actually, the devotee is the greatest. Like that. So it is like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So Radharani is the most merciful, most compassionate. And because of Radharani's compassion, her Audarya, Krishna is inspired to take that form. So Radharani is ultimately, she's definitely the most compassionate. A mother is most compassionate.
Correct, Prabhuji. But I know of a devotee who prays to Jagannath ji, Subhadra ji, and Balram ji, and say they are more merciful than Radha Krishna.
Well, I mean, see, ultimately, Jagannath, first of all, again, we need to identify the position of Jagannath. Now, Jagannath for the devotees, for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, is nothing without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the one who actually brought out the form of Jagannath to the world. So Jagannath is actually the manifestation of Mahabhava of Krishna. And why did this Mahabhava form manifest? First, we need to understand. It's a special form of Krishna with all the features which are contracted, right? And that's how we see the compressed form of the Lord. So why this happened? Because Krishna was remembering the gopis and Radharani, and he's always hankering for the Brajvasi's love. So the entire credit goes to Radharani for that ultimately. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Radha and Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he got out that bhav for the devotees for Lord Jagannath. So without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jagannath has no value for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So when you talk about Jagannath, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually, compared both of them, Mahaprabhu is supreme. And for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the one because of whom Jagannath is worshipped, the form, Mahabhav form of Jagannath. So now, do you understand?
Yes,
Ultimately,
Prabhuji.
and the conclusion of all this is ultimately the greatest is Srimati Radharani. Gaudiya Vaishnavas are called Gaudiyas because they are worshippers of Radharani. They are like, they prefer Radharani the most. Radharani is the first and foremost for all of them. That's why they are called Gaudiyas.
Oh,
Devotees of Vishnu are called Vaishnavas. The devotees of Krishna are called as Krishnas, like that. And devotees of Radharani are called Gaudiyas.
thank you, Prabhuji. Very clear. I didn't know Gaudiya Mat was basically, the Gaudiya people were mainly praying to Radharani.
Yeah, I mean, if you see, that's why we need to read the books of Prabhupada. We need to. Prabhupada, it's not that you'll get this knowledge after reading the Bhagavatam or after reading CC. It's right there in the small books of Prabhupada. You take up teachings of Lord Chaitanya, everything is there. All the big philosophy is there in teaching of Lord Chaitanya. You take perfect question, perfect answer. Prabhupada describes some pastime there, Radha and Krishna's pastime. And Prabhupada establishes in all these places that how Radharani is the supreme.
Yes.
For the God of Vishwas. So you need to read Prabhupada's books. You need to hear devotees regularly. Then you will be able to understand very clearly.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you.
Prabhuji. Thank you for a wonderful class. Any other question anybody else have?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for this nectarine class and such a wonderful pastimes. You explain of Lord Balaram on this special day of Lord Balaram Purnima. And yeah, it was Krishna's plan that we can have Balaram Katha again continuously. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, all the devotees, for your association and for your kindness to hear. And we can all play to our guru, who are representatives of Balram. We don't have access to Balram, we don't have access to Nityanand Prabhu. So we have some access to our Gurujan, Diksha Siksha Guru. When we say Guru, of course, equal weightage to Siksha Gurus also, who have given a lot of help to us in spiritual life. So we can pray for their mercy, and then we pray that we advance in the path of bhakti. So thank you so much for your kind association. And for giving me this opportunity, and my Denver pronouns to all of you. Panchakalpatarvescha, Kripasindhuvescha, Patsanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. Anand Vaishnav ki jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gokulanande. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Panchakalpatarvescha Kripasindhuvescha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Anantapati Vaishnava ki jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Granth Rashmad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. His Grace Prem Rasa Prabhu ki jai. Balaram Purnima ki jai. All Krishna Samadhi ki jai. Thank you so much.
Next time I will have
Prabhuji.
Janmashtami, September class we can share something on that.
Yeah. Janmashtami, Adi Gadadhar Prabhu is scheduled for it.
Yeah, not on the same day. We'll take some other day.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.